En effectuant sa rotation autour du Soleil, la Terre suit une orbite bien précise, de manière à ce que tous les 30 km environ, elle ne dévie que de 2,8 mm. L'orbite que suit la Terre ne change jamais, car même une déviation de 3 mm seulement provoquerait des désastres. Si la déviation était de 2,5 mm au lieu de 2,8 mm, alors son orbite serait plus élevée et nous serions tous gelés. Si la déviation était de 3,1 mm, on brûlerait. Ces faits ont été découverts que grâce à des recherches en astronomie au XXe siècle. Pourtant, il a été révélé 14 siècles auparavant dans le Coran que les corps célestes tournent dans des orbites très précisément réglées. Par le ciel aux voies parfaitement tracées. Dans un autre verset, nous apprenons ce qui suit. Et c'est lui qui a créé la nuit et le jour, le soleil et la lune, chacun voguant dans une orbite. Selon les calculs des astronomes, le Soleil se déplace le long d'un chemin appelé l'apex solaire, dans le chemin de l'étoile Véga, de la même manière qui est révélée dans le Coran. Et le Soleil court vers un gîte qui lui est assigné. À l'époque de la révélation du Coran, l'humanité ne possédait aucun télescope pour scruter l'espace lointain, à des millions de kilomètres de distance, ni des technologies d'observation ou la science moderne de la physique et de l'astronomie. Par conséquent, il était impossible à cette époque de déterminer scientifiquement que l'espace était équipé de voies parfaitement tracées. Cependant, ce fait est énoncé clairement dans le Coran, lequel est descendu à cette époque-là, car le Coran est la parole de Dieu. La théorie du Big Bang, qui a été acceptée à l'unanimité par le monde scientifique au XXe siècle, prouve que l'univers est apparu dans une gigantesque explosion. Un verset du Coran a révélé ce fait, il y a 1400 ans. Ceux qui ont mécru n'ont-ils pas vu que les cieux et la terre formaient une masse compacte? Ensuite nous les avons séparés et fait de l'eau toute chose vivante. Ne croiront-ils donc pas? Le mot ratq, qui est traduit par former une masse compacte, signifie en arabe mélanger, fusionner dans le langage courant. Le verbe séparer dans la phrase « nous les avons séparés » correspond au verbe arabe fataka, et implique le désassemblage ou la destruction de la structure des éléments unis les uns aux autres. Un fait scientifique très important est décrit ici, la séparation des cieux et de la terre. Curieusement, aux premiers instants du Big Bang, la matière tout entière de l'univers était concentrée en un seul point. Les cieux et la terre, qui n'étaient pas encore créés, se trouvaient dans cet unique point. Puis ce point explosa violemment, en forçant la matière à se désunir, tout comme cela est décrit dans le verset. Les gens vivant il y a 14 siècles ne possédaient bien sûr pas les connaissances scientifiques ou la technologie leur permettant de savoir que la Terre, le Soleil, la Lune et les étoiles, et tout ce qu'ils voient ou tout ce qui est invisible dans le ciel, étaient initialement unis en un seul point.
Upon a very close scrutiny of the alleged references to Muhammad in the Bible as a prophet, they absolutely have no relation to the Prophet of Muhammad, nor prophesy his coming.
Muhammad is not mentioned in the Old Testament. Muhammad is not mentioned anywhere from Genesis to Revelation.
And Muhammad is God true master. That's a joke.
Lo, we inspire thee as we inspired Noah and the prophets after him, as we inspired Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob and the tribes, and Jesus and Job and Jonah and Aaron and Solomon, and as we imparted unto David the Psalms.
The verse we've just heard is from chapter 4 of the Quran. In the verse, God is affirming to humanity that Muhammad is indeed the recipient of a divine guidance, just as Noah, Abraham, and the rest of the prophets. However, some Christians and Jews today don't believe that Muhammad was a prophet and the covenant that God made with Abraham. And since the Quran is not their book of authority, in this video I'm going to show you that the book you're holding in your hands contains the name off the seal of prophethood, the Prophet Muhammad. As known, the Old Testament was preserved in the Hebrew language. In the 5th chapter of the Shir HaShirim, which is one of the 5 Megillat or sacred scrolls that are part of the Hebrew Bible, or for short the Song of Solomon, as Christians know it today. That chapter is discussing someone. Jews will say it is discussing Solomon, while Christians will say it is discussing Jesus. Considering this is the Songs of Solomon, it would seem logical that it is discussing Solomon. The verses, describing this mystery man, have the narrator's speech conjugated in the feminine, meaning it is a woman who is describing this man. So it is possible that it is one of Solomon's wives discussing her husband Solomon. However, Christians assert that Jesus is being discussed, and that the chapter is describing a man who was not yet alive at that point. A prophecy. In reading the English translation of Song of Songs 5:16, it finishes the description by saying, "He is altogether lovely," but what most people don't know is that the name of that man was given in the original Megillat. Here is verse 16, and how it is written in ancient Hebrew, before introducing the vowels, in the 8th century. From the Hebrew Bible, on scripturetext.com. Here is the word in question. This word is made of 4 letters.
Mem, Het, Mem, Dalet.
Now when reading the word as it is written in its original form, with no vowels, it can be read as Muhammad, which is the name of the Muslim prophet, or as Mamad with no A after the H. According to Ben Yehuda's Hebrew English Dictionary, it is correctly pronounced as Muhammad, not Mamad. So how we're going to know for sure if it's pronounced as Muhammad, the Muslim prophet, or as Mamad, a random Hebrew word? The only way is to give the verse to a rabbi, and say to him, please read. Here is the Song of Songs 5:16, and how it is read by a rabbi from a Hebrew Jewish site. Please notice, the im in Hebrew is a plural of respect.
Hiko mamtakim vechullo Mahamadim ze dodi vezer'i benot Yerushalayim. Hiko mamtakim vechullo Mahamadim ze dodi vezer'i benot Yerushalayim.
Coming out from the darkness, there are no other gods but God, and Muhammad is his messenger. Let the world hear.
Hiko mamtakim vechullo Mahamadim ze dodi vezer'i benot Yerushalayim. Hiko mamtakim vechullo Mahamadim ze dodi vezer'i benot Yerushalayim.
Here is the famous SDL translation tool, which includes a professional human translation, as well as an online translation. We're going to copy our Hebrew word of the Song of Songs, directly from the Jewish site. It's the same site, where you can hear the rabbi reading the verse in Hebrew. All links are in the description, so, we're going to copy the word and paste it, and ask, please translate. Are they going to translate the meaning of the name of that person? As the Bible translators did. Which is the praised and the lovely one, or are they going to keep the name as it is? Well, see it yourself. Here is the World Lingo Translator. The result is the same. It's Muhammad.
We have no right. We have no right to translate names of anybody. Anybody. Your name should be retained. Mr. Black is Mr. Black, though he's white. You have no right to translate names of people. But they have been doing that. Muhammad they translated as altogether lovely. But the word Muhammad in the Hebrew language, the word Muhammad in the Hebrew language